How's everybody doing today? I'm Travis.
And I'm Aaron, and we are the Cancel This podcast. Kyle Rittenhouse, hero or villain?
I'm kind of stuck between on him. I don't know really where to label him.
I am all aboard the hero train for Kyle. Watching the videos, I think there's very little room for argument that he was not in self-defense. I think the one argument against him is that he lived 25 minutes away, but he worked in the city and he didn't cross state lines with the gun. So for me, I think the biggest thing is that I saw the video of other people chasing him. And New York Times, I believe, reported that someone else fired a gun first and then he returned fire. And I think for me, those are the biggest sticking points when you're talking about self-defense, is that he didn't instigate. And I don't believe carrying a gun alone is enough reason, to say this person deserved to be attacked. Wisconsin is an open carry state. So you can't say this person was following their rights and they deserve to be attacked for it.
Well, another point on that, though, is it's a point of what's happening down there. You know what's going on. He knew what was going on. Everybody knew what was going on after the Jacob Blake incident. And he went there with the gun on him. And some would say that he was antagonizing. He was asking for it to happen. There's the opinion of maybe he was just down there to protect himself or protect the property that was down there. But he put himself in a position that you almost could guarantee what the end result would be.
I think a lot of people miss that he also had a medic bag on him. And he was interviewed earlier that day saying that he was there to provide medical services for any side. And his day job in the city was a community lifeguard. So he had actual skills of pertaining to medical. I think he had good enough reason to be there. It was his community. I mean, he doesn't live there, but he works there.
Right. He's a part of the community, and I understand that. It comes down to a point of the people that have been there. We've been seeing the videos for months and months. I mean, even years at this point. Every time there's an incident, whether it was a wrong incident or a right incident, before we even have those answers, it becomes an issue of people are rioting in the streets, they're burning buildings, they're looting, and we're not going to say all those people are bad people that are out there, because there's some people that are out there to just...
Good people on both sides.
Right. Well, there's people out there that are protesting what happened, what they see as an injustice, and that's okay, that's a good thing. But there are people out there, and we have seen them, who are out there strictly to cause mayhem. Now, if he's there with the thought in his mind of, okay, I'm going to protect people and I'm going to prevent mayhem from occurring, or at least try to prevent it, and he's doing it by all legal means, then that is a good thing and we can't be mad about that. But we have to make sure that he was following all the laws when he was going about that. Was he of age? Was he allowed to open carry like that? Whether or not he was putting himself in that situation, he may not have been going there with the thought in mind of, okay, something bad's going to occur and that's what I'm here for. He may have been going there, like you said, with the thought of, if something bad occurs, at least I know I can protect myself and property around me and people around me.
He lived closer than 2 out of the 3 people that he shot.
Oh, see, and that changes things too. And
I mean, people keep talking about, he crossed, he didn't even live in the same state. But yeah, he lived 25 minutes away. That's closer than I live from my work. And when you watch the video, he only shoots the people when they are like lunging at him.
Right.
And as soon as they are no longer a threat, he's not like the cops that shot the Jacob Blake guy. He didn't shoot 7 shots in the back of the guy.
Well, and we can touch on that too, the Jacob Blake situation, because that is something, like, if you've ever been through police training, like when I was in the military, I went through security training and we went through police training. They make you watch videos of incidents that occur so you can learn to prevent those incidents from happening to yourself. One of the videos that they make you watch is a police officer pulls a guy over, he gets out of the car, he's talking to him. The guy starts heading back to his car. The police officer tells him to stop multiple times. The guy doesn't. As soon as the guy opens his car door, he's got a shotgun right there, turns around, shoots the police officer. Officer dies. They make you watch those videos so you can understand how quickly a situation can go south. Now, from the video, from what I was able to put together, the police officers are telling him not to do it, and he keeps heading towards the vehicle and decides to open the vehicle. Now, you put yourself and his children in the vehicle at risk when you do something like that. So there are incidents happening in the world. We can all see that. There's bad things happening. There's bad cops. But we got to stop with the narrative of all cops are bad. Ignore all cops. Do whatever you want. And if they kill you or if they shoot you, they're in the wrong. Like, we have to stop doing that because it's doing more harm than good. More people are getting hurt. And that's why incidents are becoming more prevalent this day and age.
Yeah. I think the biggest lesson, the biggest thing that we can learn here is that follow police orders at that time. And
Absolutely.
If they violate your Constitution rights, I hope you sue them. And I hope you get a big chunk of money, and I hope they learn their lessons, the department learns a lesson, and you're able to walk away with money from a lawsuit rather than being crippled or...
Exactly. And I had an incident, and I'll just touch on it quickly. When I was younger, I was 16 at the time. My girlfriend was driving. We got pulled over. They said we didn't yield long enough at a yield sign. Apparently, it's supposed to be 3 seconds, full yield. With that happening, Flint police officers pulled us over, got us both out of the vehicle, put us both in the back of the cop car in cuffs.
Why were you pulled out of the car?
She didn't have her driver's license on her. That was their reasoning. So they pulled us out of the vehicle, put us in cuffs, and put us in the back of the cop car.
That's ridiculous. I'm sorry to stop you here. I've had someone hit my car. The cops came. The lady didn't have a license, registration, nothing. She hit me when I was at a stop sign, and nothing happened. She got to walk away, but you're telling me that you got handcuffed and put in the back of a car?
Yep, at 16 years old, handcuffed, put in the back of the cop car. The issue, though, was where I lived. The neighborhood I lived in, it was a known drug neighborhood. They thought we were, because I went to my house and we were leaving, they thought we were picking up drugs. They didn't know it was my house, so they pulled us over, took us, put us in the back of the cop car, searched the entire vehicle. We were back in the back of the cop car for a good 45 minutes. Now, this isn't right, but I could have sat there and told them no. I could have cussed them out. I could have went crazy.
Just go start kicking the windows.
Right, and that situation would have went very differently for me in a bad way. Now, I didn't like it, but I just followed the rule. I did what I was told. We got to get back in the truck, and we got to leave and go on about our day. Now, we could have handled the situation with higher-ups down the line if we wanted to. We never did, but that option was there. If you decide to take matters into your own hands on the scene, then you're never going to have that opportunity to correct it down the road.
Let me ask you this. With the technology today, with the cameras that we got, do you think minor infractions that aren't hazardous, let's say like license plate renewals, maybe your headlights out,
Seatbelt,
something like that. Do you think we should cancel police pulling people over for those type of incidents, and maybe just, the camera catches it sends out the infraction bill, whatever? That's a totally different topic, but it sends out instead of having the police stopping you, using that as a excuse to check your car, which I think, honestly, for me, that's like a warrantless search.
Right, correct.
They could have easily, A, checked to see if you lived there, but B, just because you were in the area doesn't mean you had anything associated with drugs. You probably, I assume you didn't smell like drugs. I assume you weren't acting like you were on drugs.
Right.
But because they pulled you over for yielding or not yielding long enough, you were in the back of a cop car for 45 minutes. So what if, like, instead of being pulled over for not having your license plate renewal, we just skip all that and there's no longer that stressful situation where the cops are having to deal with people more than they should?
Right. Less pullover means less incidents that can occur. And I agree with you. I think issues like that, like, an expired license plate or those minor infractions like you're talking about, I think those should come down to if there's an incident of some other sort, like a major incident, and then that's discovered, then it becomes something that you deal with. I don't think you shouldn't be pulling people over for a suspended license or a expired license plate and then looking for other issues.
Yeah.
Rather, you should be, once you find those bigger issues, then you can say, okay, well, you also had an expired license plate. We're going to take care of that too. Like, we're not, if the cops are so busy worrying about every petty crime, especially in these high crime areas. I mean, if you've lived in Flint, a place like Flint, there's places all around the world like that. You know that if you call the cops, it's going to be a long time before they arrive.
What you're kind of describing is kind of like a glorified stop and frisk.
Essentially, that's what it is. Yeah.
I mean,
And that's what they've been doing all around the country. It doesn't get enough attention because people are getting pulled over. And like me, I was 16. A 16-year-old doesn't know no better. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what's going on. You just know the cops pulling you over. You just do what you're told. You get in the back of the cop car. And that's what they're doing. They're taking advantage of those situations. And I think it's very prevalent. I think the stop and frisk is happening all over the country.
You know, you want to change topics here? So recently I went to a Libertarian Rally for Jo Jorgensen with Spike.
She's running for the Libertarian president.
Yeah, she's running for Libertarian president. There's a huge push to hashtag let her speak. They're not allowing her to on the debate stage.
Now, what is it that they say they require, like 13% or something like that?
But then, so get this. So they require like 13%, but they're not even pulling her.
Right.
In the equation.
So there's no way she can even get that. Because they're not pulling.
They're not asking.
Right.
So...
And I've had calls, and they never asked me about the third party.
Is it Trump or Biden?
Right.
Trump or Biden. And
back in 2016, Trump or Hillary, you know. It's...
Yeah. I should mention I am like a right-leaning libertarian. So to me, this is like a big deal. I went to the rally. I've been to a couple other political rallies. I went to a John James one a couple of years ago when he was running for Michigan Senator. That was like a concert. Kid Rock was there. Donald Trump Jr. was there. It was like a party, big thing, thousands
he throws
people.
Some pretty good events, John James says.
This was at the Flint water treatment plant. There's about 50 people there, and about 10 of them were carrying AR-15s and Hawaiian shirts and an armor.
Now, let's touch on this. Does AR stand for assault rifle?
AR does not stand for assault rifle.
We got to clarify that.
It stands for Armalite?
Armalite, yeah.
Yeah, Armalite. It does not stand for assault rifle.
Just want to clarify for everybody, because I know a lot of people with this push for banning assault rifle, they hear AR, they automatically think, oh, that's an assault rifle.
It was pretty interesting to see no actual security guards, just dudes walking around in Hawaiian shirts, carrying AR-15s around. But it was also super chill, super relaxed. A couple of the guys ended up doing some Q&As with Spike, who's running for vice president, and they were about 15 feet away from him, and it was not a big deal at all. To me, as like an outsider, it was kind of weird. But
you say there was about 50 people there, right?
About 50 people, yeah.
So she's already outpacing a Joe Biden rally, a regular Joe Biden rally. I mean, I seen one he had in Pittsburgh. That's his home state, you know, or Pennsylvania, and there was I think 5 people there, something like that.
Yeah.
So, and it refused to answer any questions. Now, most people don't know about me. I fall under the Democrat. I mean, but we got to also keep in mind that I'm not just going to give my vote away. I need to see somebody doing something, and Joe Biden hiding in a basement isn't winning any votes. Simple as that. I mean, he's got to get out there and he's got to do more, and he's going to have to debate, and I think we need to get that debate going before people go out and vote.
Just the other day, Joe Biden said, and I quote, COVID has taken, this year, just in the outbreak, has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. It's just, you think about it, more lives this year than any other year for the past 100 years. Wise words of Joe Biden.
All right, oh my goodness. Yeah, and you can't even really dissect that because you don't even know what the hell he just said.
I think what he's trying to say is that this is the worst pandemic in the past 100 years.
Well, the Spanish flu was, 1918? So I guess 102 years, so he gets away with that one. I mean, it's just astonishing, really. I mean, the words that come out, like not being able to put together a coherent sentence. I mean, it's just... I was more for Tulsi Gabbard at that.
Oh, I was a Tulsi fan too.
Yeah, we need somebody who's ready to, say it how it is. Somebody that doesn't have an industrial military complex.
Oh, good luck with that. I see how much they hate Trump already for that.
Right. I mean, in Washington, it seems that's all we're getting anymore. We got to do something about that because it's tough. They're picking who the candidates are every 4 years. These are your candidates, and every 4 years we're having just crazy stuff happen in the world, and something's got to change. Something's got to give. And we want Jo Jorgensen to have a chance to get up there and speak, but you can't put her too close to Joe Biden or he might sniff her. So what are your options really at that point?
What good, realistically, will a third-party president do in the White House if there's no Congress or Senate to support them?
That's true, and that's part of the systems of checks and balances. Let's say Jo Jorgensen did win. She gets the executive branch.
Yeah.
And now you're dealing with the legislative branch. Right now, Congress is split up. The Senate is Republican, the House is Democrat. And it's probably going to look that way for a while, you know. Republicans did gerrymander back in 2010. They got some good seats. They had a nice run there, but that's pretty much over with. So you're probably going to be looking at a Republican-controlled Senate, and it'll go back and forth, but a Democrat House, that's what you're going to get. It would be tough for her to pass anything because she's basically going to get bullied. Like, if you want this, you're going to need this. And we've seen Obama was able to push so many executive orders through. And, you know, Trump, he's pushing some through, but he's getting backlash every time he pushes something through.
As soon as you need a bipartisan support, he's done. So every time Trump tried pushing the bill, all the Republicans, or most, would say yes. All the Democrats, or most, would say no. And I'm just like, if a third party comes in, even if they agree, they're going to say, we want something in return. And I think, especially like a libertarian who's trying to push for less government and less spending, there's no way without Senate or Congress support are you able to be able to do anything.
Absolutely not. You know, the House has the Ways and Means Committee. They basically are that's your purse strings for the whole country. So, like right now, they're run by Democrats. Even if it's Republicans, it's not going to matter. If it's a libertarian in office, they're just not going to let her do anything. Yeah. They're not going to let her get away with anything. So
shut down the government again.
Essentially, yeah. And we already seen they're willing to shut down the government. They don't care. Yeah. It doesn't affect them. I mean, look, the unemployment ran out. And whether you agree with the unemployment or not, the extra money ran out, and not one of them cared. The Senate just went on break until after Labor Day. The House was right behind them, so they don't really care what's happening. They don't care if the government shut down. They don't care if we're screwed over. They do not care. If it comes down to it and there's a president that they don't agree with, then they're just gonna they're gonna stand firm and screw over the whole country.
There's no built-in support for them.
Nope. And that's kind of where our country fell apart with the checks and balances. It's no longer a system of checks and balances. It's now a system of politicians that are deep-rooted in Washington, D.C., basically doing whatever they want and running amok, and there's nothing we can do about it.
You know, the only thing a Democrat or Republican hate more than each other is someone else. They would rather lose to each other than a third-party candidate.
They get all of us fired up against the other party, you know, so you go and vote in November, and you may not really like Trump or you may not really like Biden, but you're voting for him just because you really don't like the other guy that they're running against.
Michelle Obama just said at the DNC convention, this is not the election to vote for third party.
And that's what they're worried about. They're worried about losing a lot of votes to third party because that's what happened in 2016 because Bernie Sanders got screwed out of the election. So a lot of his supporters
literally screwed out of the election.
Yeah. Same thing happened this year. He got screwed out of it again. So a lot of his supporters weren't behind that. And now they're worried the same thing's going to happen.
How do you think Kamala Harris got picked as the VP when she wasn't even like a top 5 candidate?
If we're being honest, we know why she got picked. I mean, she's a woman of color. Yeah, she's something different too, and I really was hoping that she wasn't the pick for VP, but nothing you can really do about it. You just kind of gotta close your eyes when you go into the booth. And
I actually thought she died politically during the Tulsi Gabbard thing.
Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard really, she put her over the skewers like big time. Like that's why I said I like Tulsi Gabbard. She would have been a great VP pick because Tulsi would have brought in a lot of those middle of the pack voters. Oh yeah, because she's so moderate. She's a true moderate.
God, but you say that, but then she pulled at like 3%. She like struggled to even get into the debates. I
couldn't believe Pete Buttigieg did better than her. Like he came out of nowhere. Yeah. I mean, but it's it's a white guy in the Democrat Party. That's what's going to happen. I mean, you look at the last 5 people left in the Democrat Party. Who were they? Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Pete Buttigieg, Elizabeth Warren. I can't think of the last one, but we'll take the top 4 of the Republicans back in 2016. Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Ben Carson, and Donald Trump. Yeah. One of them was a white guy.
Well, what's funny, too, is after Pete dropped out, Donald Trump was the youngest person running for election.
Yeah, and he's in his 70s.
Yeah.
So it's
Bernie Sanders like 78.
Yeah, Bernie Sanders, he looks every bit of 78 too. He looks every bit of 90.
Joe Biden's acting like he's in his mid 80s.
Yeah, he's Joe Biden's thing is he's losing it. Like Bernie Sanders may be old, but he's still in touch.
Yeah, no, he was still sharp. Did you see him on the Joe Rogan podcast? Yeah, like he's sharp. He would talk for an hour, and at no point did he act like he didn't know what he was talking about.
Right. Joe Biden is just really losing his grip on reality, and it's sad. It's not something I'm going to make fun of. He's losing his grip. They should not have put him up there like that. He should not have been the front runner in the Democrat Party. They had so many options, and like I said, Tulsi Gabbard was what they can't see it, but she's what they needed right now. A moderate, somebody who's a true moderate, because she can really bring those working class people, those socialists are really moving to the Democrat Party, but she can bring all those together, you know. She was everything you need in a candidate, too, and they just kind of booted her out. She fought to the end. I think she was one of the last 3 left.
Yeah.
Just because she wouldn't go away. She drug Kamala Harris through the mud, and she needed it, you know. I mean, you look at her record on prosecutions and the things she used to say when she was a prosecutor.
Oh my gosh. There's 1,900 marijuana convictions alone.
Yep, and at the time, I'm pretty sure Arnold was her governor when she was prosecutor, right?
Oh, yeah, it had to be, yeah.
Yeah, and he's a Republican, so California was more of a Republican-leaning state at the time, surprisingly, but they were.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
you could probably say Arnold was a Republican.
Yeah, but it seemed like she was pushing for that law and order type thing and really going against her party. But it's just blowing my mind.
Was she, though? I mean, Joe Biden's the same thing. Joe Biden wrote
the crime bill, yeah. Back in the 90s, he did. Yeah.
I think we're almost falling into a trap of they say one thing and then they do another type of thing, you know?
Right. Well,
the same thing where Republicans say, oh, we're concerned about spending. By the way, we're going to spend more than what the last guy did.
Exactly. And Republicans' issue are they don't plan ahead enough, and that's what really kills them in politics. To 2016, you know, after Trump won, the Democrats got right to work, got right on the ground. They went to these battleground states. They had Eric Holder here in Michigan passing these laws that will help them in future elections, and the Republicans weren't fighting against it at all. You know, and the RNC chair is Ronna Romney. She's from Michigan. She was the Michigan chair of the GOP. If any state she should have been concerned about, it's Michigan, and she just didn't care. It seemed like none of them cared, and that's the problem with the Republican Party. And if Trump had not run in 2016 and won, the Republican Party would have pretty much been dead at that point as far as presidential hopes. Yeah, they were. It was a tough one because usually it goes back and forth. Democrat for 8 years, Republican for 8 years, but if not for Trump, we were looking at a 16-year stretch of Democrat at least.
Could you imagine if Jeb Bush had been the RNC?
Jeb Bush is that guy.
Oh my gosh, that guy. Trump was right calling him low energy, man. He is just.
Yeah.
I can't not picture him in a hoodie now. And then there was that time that he had that turtle in his pocket and he was handing out turtles to kids. It was like, dude, you walk around with little toy turtles in your pocket just in case you see a kid.
Right. He's a weird one too. He never had a shot, Jeb Bush. I mean, he had the name, but that's about all he had going for him.
Yeah, he had the name.
I mean, he had a dad and a brother that was the president.
Well, you know, he was. What was he? The governor of Florida, though.
Yeah, he was.
So obviously, kind of had to work for him.
I mean, but Ron DeSantis is the governor of Florida now, so he's
but
he's not
a Bush. He's not a Bush, though.
Right? Yeah, but you get governor because of his name, you know.
Right.
In Florida, the Bushes were really popular, but
I would have said George W. Bush was governor of Texas only because of his name, but then he became president.
Yeah, that's true. But also, Al Gore was a weirdo. I mean. We've seen his movies. I mean, what did he say? It came out must have been back in 2006, 7.
2003, 4.
Yeah, An Inconvenient Truth. They said we had 10 years left, and we're well past that.
I don't know if you noticed, but every 10 years we only have 10 years left.
Yeah,
it's been that way since the 70s, at least.
We got till 2030 now, so let's enjoy it and keep fighting because we only got 10 years left, guys. I mean, we're gonna get a new crisis right now. It's cow farts and airplanes are what's destroying us. There's always going to be something. There's always going to be some great catastrophe, and we need a politician to save us. And it's just horseshit.
Like clockwork every 10 years. Do you remember the mother effer lady that freaked out on people?
From Meyer.
At Meyer? How do you think she's handling COVID-19?
Oh, man.
Wait, let me ask you this. Do you think she's wearing a mask or not wearing a mask?
I think she's wearing a mask because if not, she wouldn't be allowed in Meyer again. So that's how she's getting in Meyer to get her supplies, wearing a mask.
See, I almost see her as like not wearing a mask and at the same time screaming at people that they should be wearing a mask.
Well, she was trying to save us, if you remember,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
She was trying to help us. So maybe she's seen all this coming, you know. You never know. I mean, she seemed to be way ahead of the curve on that one.
Well, it got me wondering, like, what do you think, I don't know, some, like, of these B-list, C-list actors, you know, how about, like, these Star Trek actors that, you know, would do these Star Trek conventions, and, like, that was their moneymaker. What do you think, like, their lives are like now?
I've actually seen videos. A lot of them are like the guy from the Cosby Show. He's working at a grocery store. He's bagging groceries.
Bill Cosby?
No, not Bill Cosby. He's in prison. He's bagging something else.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, he's still alive.
He's still bagging something else?
Yeah, he ain't bagging groceries. He's bagging something else. But yeah, I see a lot of them. It happens. Those B-list celebrities, they want to stay out there in California, and it's expensive to live out there. And if you're not in the movies, you're not making money. You're having a tough life, I can promise you that, because I lived out there and it was not easy.
Well, I saw the inventory of houses has doubled since last year, or is like 96% increase since last year. So more and more people are putting their houses on the market. And I don't blame them. Do you know the CVS in San Francisco is the number one most shoplifted CVS in the country?
Oh, yeah. I've seen videos where people are just walking in, taking stuff and walking out.
Well, there's that bill that says if it's like under $900, don't bother calling the cops.
Yeah.
That's a law.
Well, and that's what people don't realize. Like, because San Francisco's been so run by these progressives for so long. These are progressives ahead of their time that have been running it for so long that if they gain more control in this country, like AOC and stuff like that, that's gonna become a countrywide problem, you know. Can you imagine if every store that's the law everywhere you go, you know, under $900, people are gonna be stealing stuff left and right.
Especially when you're required to wear a mask.
Yep, and you hate capitalism, but all these business owners are just going to leave. They're going to be gone. Like,
why would they stay? Do you see that they want to do a tax proposal where even if you leave the state, they still want to tax your income?
That's not surprising, because a lot of people are leaving, and what they're doing is they're going to Texas, New York, places like that, and they're turning Texas into California slowly but surely. You know, Beto O'Rourke had a good run there. He almost won.
I know.
Because all those people come.
And Ted Cruz is a
California.
good politician.
Ted Cruz. I like Ted Cruz. He's really good. He may still be the Zodiac. We don't know that yet. We haven't confirmed.
I thought it was his father.
Somebody in his.
I feel like Ted Cruz isn't old enough to be the Zodiac killer. Maybe like
I can't remember the story exactly. Trump was telling a pretty good story on that one. Somebody's the Zodiac over there. We don't know who it is yet.
Yeah, well,
we'll find out.
Confirmed. Someone is the Zodiac killer.
We'll update once we find out more details.
We'll do a little deep dive on that.
All right, it's crazy, but they're moving. And then they're voting the same way they voted in the state they lived in, and then they're turning this new state into that old state.
As a Democrat, can you tell me why that makes any sense?
Why it makes sense to move and then vote the same way?
Yeah, to vote for the same policies that you just left.
I can't make sense of it. There's no way to make sense of it. Like, I can't do it. I'm a moderate Democrat, so I have some common sense.
All right. A 2000s moderate Democrat or a 2020 moderate Democrat?
We're talking like a John F. Kennedy moderate Democrat. Like
so you're a Republican?
I guess you could say that, but I'm a Democrat.
Have you ever seen a neighbor unload his groceries?
Never.
Think about that. What are the chances you've never seen your neighbor do that? What are the chances that we're just living in a simulation and someone forgot to write the code that other people need to unload their groceries? There's 500 million Asian women. I don't think I've ever seen a pregnant Asian woman. Have you?
I have not. And I lived in San Diego, so...
Yeah. Where are they at? There's 500 million of them. Where are all the pregnant Asian women?
So what you're saying is we found a glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah, I found 2 glitches. And I think it's important that everyone start checking your neighbors. They might be part of the simulation.
Now, if you go to your neighbor's house and you check their fridge, will they have food, though?
Well, yeah, because the program says, like, food's there.
Okay, but you just don't see them going and getting the food.
No, it just magically appears. Like, there's the part of the program that says, go to the grocery store, be as slow as you can at the checkout line, self-checkout, get in your car, drive home, exit your car, and then when you get to the fridge, all your stuff's there. Someone forgot to code that part where you have to carry in your groceries.
Okay, well, I'll do you one better. Can we get a rewrite on the code that says somebody has to go to the gas station, they got to buy 50 lottery tickets, and then they got to scratch them and catch them in right there on the spot and take an hour when I'm just trying to get gas? Can we get a rewrite on that code?
Do you mean like a decency code? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, human decency code.
I think that's the same type of person that goes to the self-checkout line knowing that they don't know what they're doing at all.
Or the person that takes more than 15 items to the self-checkout line, like myself.
You know what? I'll do that, but I will go faster than the typical person.
As will I. I go very quickly through that line. And my kids will be grabbing stuff, throwing stuff up there. We got it all down pat.
I'm so fast, I don't even check like half the stuff. I just put it right in the bags.
Hey, if you swiped it over, if the machine didn't catch it, it's not your fault. It's the machine's fault.
Yeah.
So,
I don't work for Meijer.
Right.
I get organic bananas. If the machine doesn't know that they're organic, I say bananas.
Right.
It's bananas.
Maybe they should make the organic bananas a different color. Why do they always got to be yellow or green?
They should genetically modify the organic bananas to a different color.
And still call them organic.
Yeah.
I like
Which I think you technically could. Right? Because you can have GMO. Because organic is just about pesticide and stuff, right?
Or I think organic means it wasn't the seed wasn't modified. Maybe I'm
No,
wrong.
that's non-GMO.
Okay. See, I don't know.
See, we could totally divert this and just say, let's modify the regular bananas. But I think people are just used to the regular bananas. And you shouldn't say,
we gotta keep
let's change the regular bananas, because that will just screw up the whole thing.
If we change regular bananas, then I'm not eating bananas anymore. That's a fact. We can change the organic, but we can't touch the regular bananas.
You know, bananas used to be way more sweet. If you eat like banana flavored candies, you know how they're always like super, super sweet. The whole species of bananas, species, is that the right word?
Well, technically, because a banana has the closest related DNA to a human being.
Oh, so technically, yeah. So
technically
it's a species because of that.
Right.
So technically, the whole species of bananas that were super popular, that like back in the day everyone was used to the taste of, a disease or a germ came through, wiped out the entire species, and now we got like shitty bananas.
So
the bananas that we eat now are like a fraction of.
Why aren't we taught about the great banana loss in school?
Well, probably because like
that's pretty tragic.
It's just it's tragedy.
Yeah, we can't talk about that in schools. Kids aren't ready for that. That's too much.
Are quails just gay chickens?
Yes. I've never seen a quail in person.
Because chickens aren't gay. Are they?
They're all women, so...
Oh.
Maybe. All chickens are girls. All roosters are boys.
Is that how that works?
Yeah. Rooster's a boy. And the rooster protects the chickens. That's why if you go near the chicken coop like my son did, the rooster will jump on your back. And they have very long talons. He got out of there. He didn't get stitches. He didn't get hurt, but it was a close call. Roosters don't mess around. That's why a fox comes in the hen house, the rooster's ready for war.
So where's the quails come in at?
Like I said, I've never seen a quail. I know Quail Man.
I think they're like super shiny. I assume they just like imagine the person, imagine the gay person, and then imagine chicken, and then imagine the quail. Like, I think that's the equation there.
So a lesbian chicken would be a quail.
Yeah.
Do they have rainbow patterns of any sort?
Right now in the video, I'm showing the quail, and like you're seeing,
or do they got a buzz cut, oversized jeans?
They
chain wallet?
They can't
we got to know what's
Like
going
a
on.
lumberjack.
Combat boots.
Combat boots.
What's going on here?
Just like an angry attitude towards men, even though they try to be men.
I accidentally called a woman sir last night. I want that to be known on the record as well.
You want that to be known?
That was an accident. If she's listening, that was a complete accident. I said, you can go ahead of me, sir. As she approached, I realized that...
Was she a lesbian?
I'm not going to assume what she was.
You literally just assumed
But
what
she fit that description of everything I just said.
Like, do you think you ruined her day or you made her day?
That's a good question. When you call a very butch lesbian sir, does it make their day or ruin their day? Because they're going for that image.
Right.
You know, if I'm going out with, a Versace jacket and a fancy suit and all that, and somebody calls me James Bond, that makes my day.
Right. Like, I assume if RuPaul showed up and you said, "What's up, girl?" Like, RuPaul would be like, "Hey, that's pretty cool."
Right, yeah. But lesbians, the butch ones always look really angry, so I don't know if you can make them happy.
So for me, I think, well, first of all, you're a dude, so of course you're not going to make her happy.
Well, obviously. They will threaten to steal your girlfriend, though.
Well, I say that, but I assume, like, the butch ones kind of want to hang out with the guys, right?
Until I seen a meme once. Until it's time to move, then it's like, put that lamp down and help me with this dresser. Like, I seen that. It's lesbians always want to be guys until it's time to move, and then they want to be girls. Like, put that lamp down and help me move this dresser.
All right. Anything else?
I think that wraps up our show for the night.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We will see you next time.
All right. Make sure you're here and listen up.